Welcome to our deep dive on immigration identity theft and so-called phantom crossings. Today we will explain what phantom crossings are, why they trigger abandonment denials, and how you can proactively monitor, document, and defend your case. We will also cover urgent next steps to reduce the risk of removal proceedings if you receive a denial, and how to escalate effectively. Let's get started. This presentation is general information, not legal advice. Your facts, immigration category, and deadlines may vary. Always consult a qualified immigration attorney licensed in your jurisdiction. Time limits for motions, appeals, or refiling can be short, and missing them can have serious consequences. Here is our roadmap. We begin with a definition of phantom crossings. Then we explain why official border records frequently outweigh other documents. Next, we share a proactive monitoring checklist, followed by how to build strong presence evidence. We then outline urgent actions such as refiling or appealing to reduce the risk of removal proceedings. Finally, we close with resources and next steps. Phantom crossings occur when official systems show travel activity under your identity, even though you never left the United States. This can trigger an abandonment denial because the agency may conclude you departed while your application was pending. While this is destabilizing, it can be addressed by verifying records, gathering third-party evidence of your continuous presence, and moving quickly to correct the file. We define phantom crossings as entries or exits recorded under your identity that you did not make. Causes include compromised visa numbers, clerical mistakes such as miskeyed digits, cloned or borrowed documents by imposters, and downstream data replication errors. The impact is serious. Adjudicators often give substantial weight to border crossing logs and may presume abandonment. Your objective is to reverse that presumption by showing credible, third-party, time-stamped proof that you were in the United States at the same time the system shows you abroad, and then driving a correction of those records. This flowchart traces the path from identity misuse to a potential denial. First, an imposter or a clerical error results in your identifiers being used at a border checkpoint. That activity is logged and then replicated across government systems. Later, an officer reviewing your case sees travel that conflicts with your application. This creates a perceived abandonment risk. The process can then split. If you proactively monitor and correct early, the case may proceed. If you do not discover it in time, a denial may be issued, increasing the risk of a notice to appear. Here is your monitoring checklist. First, request your full immigration file using FOIA or the Privacy Act, for example using USCIS Form G639 or the online portal. Second, obtain your CBP I-94 travel history and review every entry and exit. Third, if you see unfamiliar activity, open a DHS TRII redress case to challenge the records. Fourth, review your USCIS online account for any travel-related requests for evidence or notices of intent to deny. Fifth, consider filing a police report to document identity theft. Sixth, obtain credit reports from all three bureaus to detect related misuse around the dates in question. Seventh, protect your identifiers by replacing compromised cards and updating records with agencies as advised by counsel. Eighth, set up a secure, dated repository to store monthly proof of presence. Use this matrix to prioritize evidence. Payroll and IRS records, along with bank statements, provide strong, third-party timestamps. Housing and utility records corroborate continuous presence. Educational and medical records add additional verifiable timestamps. Time-stamped photos should be supported with original metadata and witness affidavits. Transit, toll, and gig work logs help fill gaps. Aim for a multi-source, month-by-month set covering each alleged crossing window. This mind map centers on proving physical presence using multiple independent categories. Financial evidence includes bank activity, payroll records, and tax transcripts. Housing covers leases and utilities. Employment includes timesheets and HR letters. Education and medical records provide institutional timestamps. Government mail such as DMV or Social Security notices help corroborate residency. Digital footprints like device location logs and email login metadata can support the timeline. Witness affidavits should be notarized when possible to enhance credibility. Construct a detailed presence timeline that highlights the alleged crossing dates. Build a month-by-month grid and ensure dense coverage of evidence around those dates. Aim for at least 2 independent sources per week, such as a pay stub and a clinic visit summary. Use clear, date-based file names so an officer can quickly review. Where helpful, add short affidavits from supervisors, landlords, or other third parties to link documents to your identity. This timeline juxtaposes alleged border activity against your verified presence. The key insight is the overlap. When your credible third-party timestamp documents place you inside the United States on the same day or within the same window as a purported exit, it undermines the reliability of the border record and supports correction. Acting fast usually preserves more options. Swiftly filing a motion, appeal, or a well-prepared refiling demonstrates diligence and can reduce the risk of a notice to appear. It also allows you to frame the narrative with organized evidence. Waiting can cause deadlines to lapse, increase the chance of removal proceedings, and make it harder to correct records that have propagated across systems. If you receive an abandonment denial, evaluate filing a timely motion, appeal, or in some cases a refiling, alongside a targeted rebuttal package. In your submission, line up each alleged crossing with specific contradictory evidence and include an index for easy review. Ask for internal record verification and correction, for example through DHS TRI-PIP for travel history. Keep your tone professional and focus on reconciling the conflict rather than accusing error. Consult qualified counsel to select the right vehicle and meet deadlines. Quiz time. Which action best reduces the risk of receiving a notice to appear after an abandonment denial tied to phantom crossings? Option A. Wait for the agency to correct records on its own. Option B. Immediately file a timely motion or appeal, or a well-prepared refiling, with strong presence evidence. Option C. Travel abroad to collect more stamps. Option D. Ignore the decision and hope for an automatic reopening. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is to immediately file a timely motion or appeal, or a well-prepared refiling, supported by strong presence evidence. Acting quickly preserves rights, frames the record, and reduces the likelihood of removal proceedings. The key takeaways are these. Phantom crossings may result from identity misuse or clerical errors, but they can be rebutted. Third-party, time-stamped evidence carries significant weight, so build dense coverage around the alleged travel dates. Monitor early, correct quickly, and file promptly to reduce the risk of removal proceedings. Present a professional and organized package that enables officers to reconcile contradictions in the record. In summary, start by defining the problem and verifying every travel record that references your identity. Build a month-by-month presence timeline using multiple independent sources. File quickly through motions, appeals, or a refiling to stay ahead of potential enforcement escalation. Use respectful, evidence-driven advocacy and ask for internal data checks and corrections. Thank you for watching. If you found value in this guide, please like, share, and subscribe. Post your questions or experiences in the comments so others can learn from them as well. See you in the next video.